Hi, my name is Patrick Reagan. In Part 3, Understanding Windows Shared Folders, we'll discuss how to share a Windows folder in the Windows Shared permissions. It also discusses how to combine the NTFS and Shared permissions. Lastly, we'll discuss administrative shares in the Shared Folders MMC. As always, stick around for the practice questions at the end to test your knowledge and help you prepare for the A+ exam. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to click the like button. If you have not already, subscribe to the Pat Has Your Back channel for more tech training content and technical know-how. Most users are not going to log on to a server directly to access their data files. Instead, a drive or folder will be shared, known as a shared folder, and they will access the data files over the network. To help protect against unauthorized drive or folder access, you should use shared permissions along with NTFS permissions, assuming the shared folder is on an NTFS volume. When a user needs to access a network share, he or she will use the Universal Naming Convention, or UNC, which is // // share name. Windows shared folders use the Server Message Block, or SMB protocol. SMB is the most popular file server protocol used today. Besides Windows, SMB can be found on Linux systems via Samba, many network-attached storage or NAS devices, and Apple computers. At one time, Windows Shared Folders was sometimes referred to as Common Internet File System, or CIFS, which was based on SMB 1.0. SMB 1.0 has been deprecated and is disabled by default in Windows 10 and 11. SMB 1.0 lacks encryption and has a vulnerability that can be used to take over control of a remote computer. In modern and supported versions of Windows, file and print sharing services uses TCP port 445. Older SMB implementations uses port 137, 138, and 139. Traditionally, Windows file sharing allows you to restrict access to specific shared files and folders and choose which users have access. Basic sharing allows you to share a file or folder with a specific user or group and restrict the user to read or read-write actions. Advanced sharing offers the greatest amount of control, which you can do the following: share files, folders, or an entire drive, choose users or groups with which to share files and folders, limit the number of users who can use file or folder at the same time, mainly for security purposes, set permissions on shared files and folders, such as allowing users read, change, or full control permissions, and choose which files are available to use offline. Personally, I never use basic sharing except when teaching. Advanced sharing gives me more control, therefore I prefer using the advanced sharing options. Basic share allows you to simply share the folder and assign groups or users. Permissions that you can grant a group or user is read or read-write. The advanced sharing allows you to share the same folder with different names and gives you much more control of the shared folder. When you assign groups and users, you can assign read, change, or full control. The read permission allows you to view files and subfolders, view data and files, and run programs. The change permission allows you to read files and folders, change data and files, create files and folders, and delete folders and files. The full control permission allows you to do everything that the change permissions, as well as take ownership of files and change file and folder permissions. It is Microsoft's best practice to assign everyone full control and then use NTFS permissions to specify who can access the folders and files. To share a folder, you'll right-click the folder and click Properties. Click the Sharing tab and click the Share button. Specify user or group and grant the read or read-write permissions level. To see the shared folders for computer, you can type in the // computer name from the command prompt or File Explorer. To use advanced share options, you would right-click the folder and click Properties. You would click the Sharing tab and click the Advanced Sharing button. You then select the Share this folder option. The Permissions button allows you to specify the permissions for the shared folder. You could also use a share name different from the actual folder name. Specify how many users can simultaneously access the shared folder, and configure caching options. As already shown, the user can use File Explorer or the search box to open // computer name or // IP address, and they will see all of the non-administrative shared folders. The user can type in // computer name /share name or // IP address /share name to access the shared folder directly. The user can type in // computer name and press enter, right-click the shared folder, and do one of the following: pin to quick access, pin to start, create shortcut, or map network drive. The first screenshot shows the Windows 10, and the second screenshot shows Windows 11. If you choose to create a shortcut, you'll be prompted to place the shortcut on the desktop. The user can then double-click the shortcut to open the shared folder. For Windows 11, you'll have to select Show More Options to see the Create Shortcut option. When you map a network drive, you can actually point a drive letter to the shared folder. You can also specify a different login by selecting the Connect using different credentials. You can also use the netuse command from an administrative command prompt to map a drive, such as netuse // file server /share. Use quotes if the server name or folder name have spaces, such as netuse // file server /share name, quote. The drive will appear under this PC. It is very common to combine share and NTFS permissions when providing access to resources on NTFS volumes. When users connect to the share over the network, both the share and NTFS permissions combine, and the most restrictive set is applied. Remember, if users logged on directly on the machine and accesses the folder directly, the share permissions do not apply, only the NTFS permissions. For example, let's say you create and share a folder with the following settings: share permissions via the Share tab, Sales Group Read, and NTFS permissions Security tab, Sales Group Full Control. In the preceding example, the Share permission read is more restrictive than the NTFS permission Full Control, so users can read the folder and its content, but will not be able to make changes. If the same users were to log on locally on the computer and access the files using the drive letters and not using the UNC share name, they would bypass the share permissions, and their level of access would be based on the NTFS permissions. And in this example, they would have full control. There's several special shared folders that are automatically created by Windows for administrative and system use. Different from regular shares, administrative shares do not show when a user browses the computer resources using Network Neighborhood, My Network Place, or similar destinations. In most cases, special shared folders should not be deleted or modified. For Windows, only members of the administrators, backup operators, and server operator groups can connect to these shares. Administrative share is a shared folder typically used for administrative purposes. To make a shared folder or drive into a hidden share, the share name must have a $sign at the end of it. By default, all volumes with drive letters automatically have administrative shares: $, D$, E$, and so on. Other administrative shares can be created as needed for individual folders. You just need to add a $sign to the end of the share name. Understanding the folder structure allows you to remotely navigate to a folder on a remote computer. For example, if John logs onto a computer, his profile is kept at /users/John, and the desktop folder is stored at /users/John/desktop. Therefore, you can navigate to John's desktop folder on a remote computer by accessing /PC1 /C$ $users /John /desktop. If you open Computer Management, you can navigate to Shared Folders, Shares to see all shared folders and their location. The Sessions node will allow you to see who is connected to their shared folders. The Open Files node will show you the files opened remotely by the users using a UNC. You shared a folder with the change permission to the Everyone group. The NTFS permissions are set read to the Everyone group. What are the effective permissions for the folder when accessing the via UNC? Answer, read. Question, what protocol does Windows Shared Folders use? Answer, SMB. Question, what does an administrative share end with? Answer, $. Question, what command would you use to map a network drive? Answer, net use. Question, what type of path do you call the following? //PC1 /data /OCT23. Answer, Universal Naming Convention, or UNC. For more information, visit these sites. In summary, a drive or folder can be shared, known as a shared folder, and they will access the data files over the network. To help protect against unauthorized drive or folder access, you should use shared permissions along with NTFS permissions, assuming the shared folder is on an NTFS volume. When a user needs to access a network share, he or she will use the Universal Naming Convention, or UNC, which is //server name /share name. Basic sharing allows you to share a file or folder with a specific user and restrict the user to read or read-write actions. Advanced sharing offers the greatest amount of control. When users connect to the share over the network, both the share and NTFS permissions combine, and the most restrictive set is applied. The users log directly on the machine and accesses the folder directly. The share permissions do not apply, only the NTFS permissions. Different from regular shares, administrative shares do not show when a user browses the computer resources using Network Neighborhood, My Network Place, or similar destinations. Administrative shares end in a $sign. If you open Computer Management, you can navigate to Shared Folders, Shares, to see all shared folders and their location. You can also see who is connected to their shared folder and files. Thank you for watching this video. The next video will be Windows Services Part 4, File Attributes, Compression, and Encryption. If you like this video, click the like button. If you have not already, subscribe to the Pat Has Your Back channel. Thank you.